Why buy on Etsy when you can make it at home? Hey, welcome back to Hello Pumpkin Studios. I'm Jack, and today I'm going to be making one of those trays that goes in the bathroom or in the kitchen that holds like your soap or other accessories. My wife, Erica, wanted one, and I was checking out on Etsy, and they run anywhere from like $15 to $20 to even $25. I want to see how much I can do it for and bring you guys along with us. The wood that I'm going to be using for the project is this simple kind of pine that's actually finished on one side. This is kind of used for finishing cabinets. This is a large piece. It's about 2-foot piece, so I'm going to cut this down to the sizes that she wants. One's going to go in the kitchen, one's going to go in the bathroom. This is I think 4.5 inches wide. The one that I was looking at on Etsy was anywhere from like 6 inches wide, so we're going to lose about 1.5 inches, but I'm not really too worried about that just because this is going to go in the kitchen and the bathroom. And when I was measuring kind of the bottles, so the soap bottles that we have for our kitchen, this like 4.5 was perfect size for what we needed. The first one that I'm going to cut down is actually for the kitchen, so it's going to be 10 inches. So I'm going to make a mark right here at the 10-inch mark. Don't worry if it's exact, just because this is just going to be a decorative piece, so it doesn't have to be perfect because we're not going to be joining anything against this. This one turned out to be about 10 1/8 of actually 1/16. I'm totally fine with that, just because, like I mentioned before, this isn't perfect furniture making or anything. This is just a quick DIY for the wife that she's been asking for. So this is the one that we're going to use for the kitchen. It's about 10 1/16 by 4.5. And then what I'm going to do is put little 2 pieces of legs underneath here, so it kind of sits off the countertop just a little bit, just so that we can see if there's water that gets under there. And then now I'm going to mark one for the bathroom. She doesn't want the one in the bathroom as large, just because there's only going to be one soap dispenser on there. So then I'm just going to come and mark at 4.5. Draw my line again. And take it back to the miter saw. We've all been there when we woodwork. You just have good days and bad days with the miter saw. My day's not the best day with the miter saw, so this was supposed to be 4.5. It turned out to be 4 7/16. Like I mentioned for the third time, this isn't perfect woodworking today, just because we're just using these in our bathroom. As you see, there's some tear out as well. So I'll go take this over to just my palm sander, sand this down, and then we'll go ahead and put the feet on the bottom of both of these. Since the wood is already pretty smooth, I'm actually just going to start with 120 grit on my orbital sander, just to go over kind of the rust spots where there was some tear out as well, before gluing on the kind of legs on the bottom of these pieces. For the legs, I'm still just going to use the same pieces that we were cutting these off of. And all I'm going to do is measure 1 inch off of this and cut 4 legs for each of these. I might cut a 5th one depending on if I want to put one in the middle, but if I don't, I'm just going to put 2 and then 2 on this one. This is what the bottom of the soap holder is going to look like. So right now this is the bigger one and these are 1 inch pieces. So after talking with the chief designer, aka my wife, what she wants me to do is cut this one down a little bit so then they're kind of recessed in there like that, and then this part will be cut off so then they're both kind of recessed and hidden underneath there. So I'm going to do that for both of these, and then when I transferred them over to like the 1 inch over to this smaller one, we didn't really like that since this is a 4.5 inch piece. This would be 2 inches taken up, so basically in the inside that would only be basically 2.5 inches in there. So what we've decided to do is we're going to try to cut some of these legs for the bottom of there to like a 1/2 inch from this bigger piece. So I'm going to go cut 2.5 inches off of this one, and then I'm also going to have to cut the little piece off each side so that this one can be recessed as well. It's been over 24 hours now since we glued up the feet to our kind of soap holders for the kitchen and then our bathroom that we're going to use. From our video in the Home Depot haul that we did, you'll see us pick up this premium fast drying water-based wood stain from Behr. I've used this product before on another video that I recommend you go checking out of building a desk out of 2x6s. I use this and I'm going to use it again because Erica wants to try this out on this one. For the one in the kitchen, she wants us to go pick up some different stain from Minwax to try mixing 2 stains that she's looking at. I think it's Classic Gray and Early America, or I think it might be Early America and Special Walnut, I believe. If that's not right, I'll put it in the description on what she's looking, or put it here in the video of what she wants this one to be stained. So I'm going to use this espresso water-based stain from Behr on this one and see how it turns out. The nice part about this water-based stain is that it dries fast. I think they act like this can dry in, let me see here, I think it says like within 2 minutes or so. Allow stain to penetrate for 2 to 3 minutes before taking off. So yeah, this says that it's a minimum of 1 hour to the dry time is. I'm actually going to go grab a stir stick. Make sure you always stir your stains before using them. They recommend don't shaking stain because then it'll cause bubbles and then you'll get bubbles in your project. So this is the espresso that I just stirred up here. So this one says that you can either use a clean cloth or a nylon brush. I have an old painting brush. This is a 1/2-inch trim brush that I have laying around. I don't care to like kind of ruin it, and they also mentioned that you can clean this out with soap and water. So we're gonna see what this stain looks like. So I thought this was going to go on similar to paint since it's water-based, but it looks like you're still going to have to grab a rag to wipe the excess off. So once I get some of these sides done, I'll go grab a rag to wipe off the excess. And this stuff goes a pretty long way, so you don't need too much on your brush. Probably be easier if I grab it by the feet here. So I'm going to go grab a rag to wipe off the excess that I know I don't want. And this stuff dries pretty quick. If you look on the grain side, it dried already on the side of the grain. So I'm going to let that dry for an hour, and then we'll come back and we'll stain the feet while this dries. So it's been an hour, and this is how the stain turned out. I'm really happy with this stain. Now all I have to do is put some polyurethane on it, but before I do that I need to stain the feet. I'm not too worried about this under here because this was like just white cabinet board that we had left over, so this like won't be seen because once it sits with the soap dispenser on top of it, you won't be able to see it. So I'm just going to go ahead and stain the feet. The nice part about this stain is it is water-based, so it doesn't matter if you get it on your hands because it actually does wash off, and that's the other reason why I'm using this nylon brush, because I actually use this on the top coat, as you saw when I put it on there, and I'm using it again an hour later because it dried off after I washed it. So that's the one nice part about this water base. And then I'm just going to take my old sock here and just wipe off the excess, just to try to make it cohesive. And then I'll set another 1 hour timer, and we will be all set to polyurethane. Alright, we'll be back in 1 hour. To polyurethane the soap holder, I'm actually going to use polyurethane satin finish. I actually like the General Finishes satin finish. I picked this up at Rockler, and this is like I think like 20 or 30 bucks for this. This is a nicer finish, but since we're not sure if Erica's really going to like this or not, we're just going to use this polyurethane from Varathane that we just had sitting around the house. And this is, you can pick this up at Home Depot for like 15 bucks. My favorite way to apply polyurethane is with a foam brush. This is a 4-inch foam brush, which is a little too big for this can. So what I'm going to do is actually pour it onto this plate. If I had a bowl, it would probably work better, but I didn't have any around the house, so I'm just going to use this plate. And this 4-inch foam roller is probably a little big for this project that I'm working on, but it's the last one I had laying around the house, so this is the one I just had to use. So I have this 2x4 here that I can actually sit the piece right in between, and then I can kind of polyurethane the sides and then polyurethane the top, and then it'll be good to dry. This specific polyurethane takes 4 hours to dry, and it's recommended to do 4 coats of polyurethane. So you have to let it dry until it's not tacky anymore, and then you go back and you can apply your second and third coat. If you wait more than 12 hours between each coat, then you will have to sand between those coats. That's just the product recommendation. So just keep that in mind. This is an oil base, so it does take a little longer for it to dry. That's one recommendation, that if you want to make these quick, especially if you're going to try to sell it on Etsy or something like that, that picking up a water base polyurethane might be a better option. Or Behr does make that stain in a polyurethane plus the finish as well, which I've used that one in my previous video, which is really nice because it's mixed together. I picked up just the generic stain, so I had to do this extra step of putting the polyurethane on there. And polyurethane goes a long way, so you just need a little bit. You don't need to like soak it, because you will have to come back and do a few more coats. And if you see any drip marks, right now is the best time to get them, because if not, then you're going to have to come back through and sand those off. And since this will be in the bathroom, I do recommend doing 3 coats, because the polyurethane is what's going to keep it from getting stained in the bathroom. Come back through, make sure you have no drip marks. And as long as you don't have any drip marks, you can set your 4-hour timer and come back in 4 hours and do a second coat.
So as you can see, this is some of the staining we always get whenever we have guests, and I've sealed these so many times. If you have any recommendations on sealants, please let us know. That's why I wanted Jack to create this for us, to hopefully help with water. I don't know if I'll keep it this small. I was afraid because our soap bottles are small that a bigger one would just look silly, but we'll see how this one works out. We have a guest coming in December, so I'll see if this helps our issue of the counters getting wet, because it takes forever for them to dry back out. And I was reading online that you can also ruin them that way, where you will always have the stain. So I'm hoping that that stain still comes back out, and we'll see how this does for our December guests, and then maybe get a bigger one.
That'll do it for making one of these soap holders for our bathroom. We still have this one that we haven't finished because we're going to go pick up some stain that we're going to kind of mix together to do this one that Erica wants to kind of use as a test piece, because she doesn't really love how dark this one is. So we'll make that into like a little short to show you how we go about making this one for our kitchen. So this is the one for our bathroom that we're going to go put in there. Like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us, and we can't wait to see you on the next project.